G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the southwest side of the map, we have got the one, the only, the Viper. Oh my god, that was terrible. Did you hear my voice like starting to rumble up? I mean, at the moment, it's 8:30 in the morning for me, Fitz, so it's that's probably my worst Viper attempt. Let me try once more, hold on.
Less ham this time.
The Viper. There you go, that was it. All right, Fitz, who's spawning up in on the north side of the map?
Yeah, while you're over there hamming it up, we've got Lenok playing as the French on the north side of the map. The map here is high view, and of course, up against a Rus opponent, we'll have to see, is he going to try to counterplay these deer out of the map? Does he go and aggro some of the wolves and bring them back home? Because Viper is going to be looking to pick those up for certain, as you see him training an additional scout there from his hunting cabin.
Yeah, so that is exactly the name of the game. It's about getting those early scouts onto the map, especially against Rus. And Lenok definitely not skipping a beat there. So he's obviously got the first scout out, the second scout out, and he's going to be denying that that gold from the Viper. So for anybody who might be watching this and might be new, the Rus get an early bounty for killing off their Gaia. So it depends on how much or what you kill depends or gives you a different value. So sheep give 5, deer 10, wolf 25, and boars 75. But yeah, so by killing the deer yourself, you're actually denying that bounty from the enemy, and that's exactly what Lenok is doing here. But yeah, as you mentioned, Viper opening up with a second scout himself.
Lately, you know, obviously very unique mechanic with getting gold from killing the hunting animals. If the designers intended for them to be literally aging up, getting all these bounties here in the Dark Age, or if they just thought it would be, you know, a little bit of a boost in gold as you pick them up. But we've seen a lot of Rus players, not mine, a single bit of gold for quite some time, especially when it comes into with the trading with their landmark.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's there's a very common build order. In fact, it's probably one of the best build orders that the Rus get to do, and they don't ever mine gold ever. Like they are literally sitting at 46 minutes into the game, and they still haven't built a mining camp because, you know, in the early game you're able to utilize the furs or the pelts from the deer that you're killing. So you can see that Viper is currently sitting on 297. For his gold, and then, as you mentioned, in the transition period up to the Castle Age, he's able to utilize his landmark, which is going to be giving him those favorable trades. And then finally, once he gets up to the Third Age, he's got the Abbey of the Trinity, which is going to enable him to be making those warrior monks. He's going to be getting control of the relics, taking control of the sacred sites, and having that steady gold trickle coming in. So he never really has to worry about it.
Viper just sniped most of that hunt actually there on the west. He brought 2 scouts in and denied most of that, which is quite impressive, even picking up that wolf. So doing a good job of counterplay. It's always frustrating because you put all this effort into, of course, trying to stop the Rus player from getting the gold, but you, of course, don't get an advantage from actually killing those other than your opponent not getting the gold. And I think this is part of what makes Rus very strong right now, because gold, I mean, if you look where the gold is spawned right now for both players, it's pretty far from the town center. And this is also a predictable spot to raid, whether it's with your archers or with horsemen. And when you can count on your opponent is not gathering gold, you know, that's just one less spot for you to be able to push. And if with Rus not having to do it, it just makes their eco even safer.
Yeah, especially playing up against a civ like the French, which is obviously the civilization that Lenok has picked. Lenok is going to want to be raiding the Rus player, and he's just not going to be able to do that because, as you mentioned, not only is he not going to be on gold, but he's going to be sitting underneath his town center. He's going to be going for the professional scouts, and most likely he's going to be dropping down a wooden fortress on this wood line. And not to mention, this is a wood line that is incredibly safe. It's right at the back of the town center. You know, he's going to be able to get some nice safe walls off here, I suspect. I mean, there's actually 3 wood lines that all somewhat connect down here towards the south. If you have a look down here, this is a beautiful little spot. He could, has he scouted that out? He's actually scouted that out. He could probably, yeah, just, I think about 30 wooden walls would be more than enough down there. So we'll have to look out and see whether he does that. But Viper up to 315, going to be about 340 bounty already. And there's actually
got professional scouts in queue already for Rus.
Yeah, so 55 seconds until that bad boy hits. We'll take a look at how Lenok is doing. Lenok has got 4 villagers on the age up. He's trying his hardest to come in with the professional scouts. Has got enough in the bank for it. We'll have to see whether he clicks on it immediately. There he goes. Professional scouts. Definitely going to be meta here.
There we go.
There he goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a professional scout off.
Indeed it is. Yeah, Leenock managing to pick up 2 of the wolves that were out towards the east of the map. So Viper actually left these. So he did have the option to lure them back to his town center, but he said, you know what, I'm just not going to bother. So probably just couldn't be bothered to micro the scout, because unfortunately, if you do sprint the scout back all the way, it's just going to it's going to drop off the aggro for those wolves.
Yeah. Yeah, the wolves chasing all the way back to the town center is definitely the easiest way to kill them. You know, it's interesting. Wolves, like in Age of Empires 2, were a legit threat to villagers going out, where they could often, you know, take out a villager. Where in this game, as long as you attack it back with the villager, you're going to win that fight. They're more of a threat, honestly, to the monks going out, or the scholars, probably for the most part.
Yeah, it's all about those scholars and monks. I remember a post on Reddit, somebody said essentially that. They're like, well, what's the point of wolves? They're useless. They're just annoying. And it's like, well, actually, they are very good at denying the monks as they move out onto the map. So if you don't take care of them, they will take care of your monks very quickly. But Leenock now going to be researching professional scouts. It's come in. He's managed to pick up 4 of those 7 deer. Going to be coming up and picking up the 5th one now. So heading back with a couple of scouts and a few deer in his collection. One of the things to note, though, is that when players do have a professional scout off, is that what may happen is that we get a little bit of a town center dive happening. Have you seen this happen before, Fitz?
Yeah. I've heard a lot of talk about this lately, about the scouts diving underneath and trying to pick up your food underneath your town center.
Yeah. So basically, you've got 7 scouts essentially. If you train up to the top or up to the max, Leenock has only trained at the moment 5. Yeah, you can go up to a crazy amount of scouts. I mean, the Rus are essentially. They've got no cap on their amount of scouts that they can train. And yeah, you dive the town center with just, 10, 12 scouts, and you just pick up all the carcasses that you can. And the town center's only going to be able to shoot 1 scout at a time, and you're going to be able to steal, whether it's sheep, whether it is the deer. It's just a lot of food that gets stolen. So really, really cool to see that.
I did notice Viper did steal that hunt in front of Leenock's base first, while Leenock has just been bringing in those hunts from the east side. So I think Viper is going to have more deer here.
Yeah, and speaking of having more, I mean, have a look at the age up time for Viper right now. This is ludicrous. This is going to be an 8-minute age up on the dot by the looks of it. Probably even a pre-8 minutes at this stage.
No gold mining. Gold mining. Get into the 3rd age. Like, what? Like, that's what I wonder. Like, was this intended, like, to be able to completely get to the 3rd age without mining a single piece of gold?
It is absolutely ludicrous how insane this build order is. I mean, I would just like to throw a personal thanks out to Hut. Hut, if you're watching this, thank you for giving the world this build order. So he's an Australian Age of Empires 4 player, came from StarCraft 2 like Leenock, and he was the one who sort of pioneered this build order, really made it
you might not want to put the man on blast like that. You might get some letters.
Yeah, he's more than happy to get those letters, because he's done a very similar thing with a lot of the civs. He does it with the Holy Roman Empire as well. But yeah, it's an incredible build order, and Viper aging up now at 8 minutes and 5 seconds, going for that triple archery range as well. So no shenanigans. Actually, it's only a double archery range at this point. So no shenanigans coming out for him at this stage of the game. But he's looking to move out towards the west side of the map. We'll have a look and see what resources are still out here for people. So there are 3 deer carcasses somewhere out here. I'm going to do my best to try and find them, Fitz. Actually, they've been hidden in the stealth forest, actually. Can you see that? They're a little bit hard to see, but I think Viper realizes where they are. Yeah, he picks up the first one. There's still... Oh, did he manage to find all of them? I think he did. There's still one around here somewhere. It's somewhere in the middle... Somewhere.
Do you remember I think it was the media preview, when we were first talking about, like, theorizing about hiding hunts and doing scouts, and no one else was really using this tech really early on, and now everyone is using it. I think Drongo was the first one to start experimenting with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, the very first game I played against Viper, I went professional scouts supervised on a stable. So yeah, it was a very real threat back in the day, but obviously it fell out of favor with the French. But speaking of falling out of favor with the French, it looks like Viper going to be falling out of favor with those knights beginning to chase him down on the front line. He's got horse archer masses beginning to build here, but unfortunately going to have to be falling back here. He's managing to escape. He's obviously got the movement speed advantage over his opponent because as long as you're able to get away from your opponent, then you're going to be fine when it's in that matchup. But what do you think is going to be happening as we enter in towards this mid-game here, Fitz?
I mean, I think we're going to see a ton of horse archers. I was actually going to ask you, looking at like the stat of a horse archer and then at these royal knights, how does that damage output really look against, if we had horse archers up against royal knights?
It's actually pretty good for the horse archer. So they're able to really bite through their armor. So, I mean, the best case scenario, you're going to see 6 armor coming out for those royal knights. And the horse archers are going to have 14 damage. So you can see that they've got 12 at the moment with +2. So they're going to be doing 8 damage a pop. And obviously with 190 health, obviously that goes up a little bit more with the veterancy, but they're more than capable of one-shotting, 2 or 3 knights at the same time.
Yeah, well, I think the age of horse archer has begun here. I do see the archery range is out for Leenock, though caught a little bit off guard. Just lost an archer kind of for free there. No reaction. Maybe he wasn't looking.
Speaking of getting caught off guard, Viper actually loses his warrior monk up towards the north with a relic on the back. Wasn't paying attention. Playing it a little bit too greedy there. So, Fitz, I'm always one to say that, look, if you're going to go for the sacred sites, do it, but do it without a relic on your back because, yeah, it's unfortunate, but he's now lost that relic.
Yeah, I'm wondering if... I'm trying to see. We got another warrior monk coming out there for Viper. I don't see any monks coming out for Leenock quite yet. I was wondering if they would go for these relics since there are quite a few here.
Yeah, this is pretty ludicrous, but Sacred Site now going to be going down over on that western front. We'll check in with Leenock and see how he's doing. So Leenock... He is aging up, so going up with the guild hall. Obviously got that second town center down, so he's feeling pretty good about his economy. But now Viper going to be moving in towards the front line, taking out those villages. Leenock on 54 villages, slowly going to be working his way through this though. And Viper going to be ahead significantly. Going to be cleaning up a couple of horse archers here on the back line. So a nice little pick up there for him. Manages to escape with that horse archer with just 6 health on it though. So yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, I was just confirming the speed. We got both the Royal Knight and the Horse Archer have 1.62 speed. I thought for some reason that Royal Knight would be slower, but they do have the same speed, but of course the range advantage for those Horse Archers.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's obviously that range. But we'll take a look at Viper. Viper actually dropping down the Blacksmith. No Boyar's Fortitude coming through just yet at this stage, but he does have the +1 attack coming through. Also, actually, +2 attack. I take that back. So already going to be sitting on 14 attack at this point.
Look in front of Leenock's Town Center right now. That's been going on for like 10 seconds or more.
That's a lot of villagers. Okay, they've woken up right now. Yeah, that's kind of wild. I mean, it can happen, can't it? I mean, even at the top level, you'll find yourself with that many villagers going idle all the time. But yeah, he's heading out to a berry bush. He'll be fine now, but still more idols.
And he is working on bringing in those Vipers, bringing in those relics right now. Let's see, how many does he have garrisoned already? He has 2, he's bringing a 3rd in. I mean, he might get every single relic on this map. It doesn't look like Leenock is really concerned with stopping it either.
Yeah, it can be a difficult thing to deny because obviously the Rus player, they're going to have the larger mass. And this is part of the reason why it's so difficult to go up against them. And now we can see Viper beginning to move in towards the base of his enemy, right on top of these villagers. Man. And you can see the damage that gets put out. It's ludicrous. Going to be almost one-shotting that veteran Royal Knight. It's 2 shots it down. Manages to do a fair bit of damage.
I really just feel like we're going to... I mean, we know it already, but these horse archers are just so dominating in the ladder right now. And I think we're going to just see... just being able to outmaneuver these Royal Knights army. I think you have to have an archer heavy, maybe a Mangonel comp, but because Knights are just going to be a fodder to these. Yeah,
I've watched multiple games against these guys, and one of the themes throughout it has been archer heavy compositions are quite decent against it. They do trade very effectively into it. But at the same time, then they can be countered very effectively by Mangonels. So it can be one of those difficult things on knowing where the balance is. And speaking of Mangonels, take a look in Viper's base. We've got a Mangonel already on the way out. Siege Workshop is down. He's got a second one coming out. And so this is the difficult thing. I mean, you can go an archer composition against the horse archers, but then, you're left in a difficult position because you're open. And then subsequently, you've got to respond with your own siege. You've got to respond with Springalds, and now you're in a difficult spot because the horse archers have got such mobility compared to you.
Oh, look at those villagers. Oh, my. Oh, the humanity.
Yeah.
This is a war crime.
This is so the first game went for an hour. I've got a feeling that the second game is not going to go for anywhere near as long as that fits. I mean, Viper is absolutely all over Leenock at this point in time. Leenock did open with the double TC. He's sitting on 66 villagers at the moment, but Viper not too far behind him. He's on 48. Picked up the 5th relic, I think he has. Yeah, up towards the north of the map. He's got the 5th relic now in the bag.
Yeah, and Sacred Sites will be next. I mean, I don't think I've ever thought I'd see the day where I'd actually be sitting here rooting for French to just get like a giant mango shot off. But these horse archers have been they really grind my gears.
Yeah, I can imagine. One thing I want to point out that's interesting and bugged while we've got a raid up towards the north up here as Leenock attempts to escape once again. Viper's got 4 relics in his Abbey of the Trinity. So it's a bit of a bug. So you're only meant to be able to put 3 in there, but he's got 4 in there. So I'm not sure exactly how he's done that. I know I've seen that in the past where players have been able to get more than 4 in there, but I suspect these are all naturally grown relics. I don't think there's been any duplication that's going on. But keep in mind, if he really wanted to, he could add in that monastery. You can see he has added a monastery at the back of his base to put down that relic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious how he managed to squeeze that one in, getting that extra little bit of gold in there.
Supposedly, I think it's if you put 2 in at the same time, it can happen.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think they're duplicated. It's just holding more than it should. But yeah, he does have that monastery, so not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's really too much of an issue. Yeah, it is. It's a curious bug that happens. But now Leenock going to be moving out. You can see the veteran archer mass beginning to build up for him as well. If we take a look at his infrastructure, he's got 4 archery ranges. That's all he's got out, with the exception of that school of cavalry. So he is going absolutely all in on making archers to counter this. So it's only going to be a matter of time until these mangonels come up. And they're in the stealth forest as well. This is going to be disgusting, Fitz. I don't know about you, but I am ready for this. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I thought Leenock would maybe try to go for Mangonel. Like, this is coming. He's had villagers getting picked off left and right. Like, what was his counterplay here? Do you put... Didn't have counter. Okay, here goes the fight.
Oh, it was so close. It could have been huge.
Got away.
Oh my lord.
From downtown.
Second one's coming off.
The villagers. They're charging.
Oh my lord, it's disgusting, dude.
Not gonna be good.
Poor Leenock, man. He's trying his best. Oh Jesus. Oh yeah, you hate to see it. Mangonel's just absolutely shredding the back line.
Over here.
Yeah, gonna need to clean up an aisle 3, that is for sure. All sacred sites getting taken by Viper. And Leenock gonna be tapping out there.
Man.
What a game.
I saw people ask before the tournaments happened, like, would we see a shift in the meta? Would we see different things happening? But this is exactly what I've been seeing happening all week on the ladder. It's just this horse archer spam is so strong.
It's a balanced civilization. I don't know what more I can really say, but look, Fitz, thank you once again for joining me for this cast. For anybody who's unfamiliar with Fitz, this has been FitzBro, and I'll leave a link in the description in the YouTube description over towards his channel. In addition to that, there'll also be a link to the Discord for EGC TV. Make sure you check that one out if you're interested in seeing more of these events. Thank you so much for watching me. Thank you so much for joining me, and FitzBro, it's been a pleasure.
See you in the next one.
Sounds good.